Here we have a 2012 Heritage. We're going to be putting a set of low beach bars on it. What I had beforehand were these little bars over here. Little set of 10 or 12 inch ape hangers. So it should be a lot more of a comfier ride. Real nice bike. I like these old Heritages. I like the old whitewall tyres and just that old school hot rod look. Just that old school cool. Big headlight, like the spotties. Just a well styled Harley. Here's the previous wiring job. Another big no-no, they cut into the CAN bus system. But anyhow, check that out. Just a bit of twisted tape, bits of heat shrink, a bit of mismatch, whatever they had lying around really. And as for that join there, that one wasn't even, had nothing on it at all. So yeah, we'll fix all this wiring up and colour coordinate it exactly how it came back from Harley. So you never know. Check the holes they put in the bars. It's like size for size for the wiring. I'm surprised it hasn't rubbed through and created a short in there anywhere. Out of it. Here you go, the new beach bars going on the Heritage. They're set at a nice riding position for him. So for shoulder height, his arms are probably angled down 5 to 6 inches or so. But anyhow, we couldn't get any new switch blocks in time. So this bike's going to be doing the Burt Run race, so it'll be roughly around a 6,000 k trip. So anyhow, got to be Sally got to do a cut and shut on these. I couldn't get any new switch blocks in time, so I'm just putting an extension wire in between them all, soldering them on. And check this out. That's all the joints, every piece of tape you see, that's where they're jointed at some stage. That's not even all of them either. There were heaps, I just threw them out. But anyhow, like on argument's sake, on one piece of wire they had 4 joins. I have no idea why. But anyhow, this should make it a lot more reliable than all this mess here, so let's get into it and solder it all up. Here's our wiring looms all done now, ready to thread through the bars. I fully forgot to show the process of joining the wires and the wires underneath. I had them all color coded, so everything's exactly how it left Harley. I made up new twisted CAN wires. It should be good to go now. This one might look a bit funny there because as you can see, so you see the CAN wires running up through there, but this loom here has to split off into 2, and you've got that one that's just a single plug on the left hand side of the bike. But that's our looms. Looms are all threaded through the bars. It was easy as in this one. Just have to push it through there, fit it out that end there. Being a CAN setup, there's not a lot of wiring on these switch blocks. So you've got 4 wires this side, positive, negative. The 2 CAN wires. This one here is an extra wire, so we've got 5 wires on this side. Being that there's no air ride or any indicators up on the handlebars, so it's a real small loom and there's not a lot of wires. Check how tidy this is. Real small too. Beautiful. So you've got 2 plugs there, a single plug on that side. What else we've got to do to the bars? We're going to be changing all these buttons here. So we're going to put chrome caps to go on there. We've also got the chrome switch housings, the chrome master cylinder for your brake, and also the chrome clutch lever perch. And we've also got chrome mirrors, and yeah, that should really be the whole setup done. So now we can mount them on the bike once we get the rest of the parts here. All the parts for the Heritage are now here. So I'll start on this end. The mirrors are already off the bike, they're in pretty good nick. Move over here to the Defiance grips. Got the nice, I chose these ones because they've got the nice flute. Keep with that old school theme of the bike. Got the new clutch perch, chrome switch housings, new chrome levers, new master cylinder, new switch caps. We've also got the Barnet accelerator cables and got the custom made clutch cable here. So can't wait to put this together. It's been nice doing all this chrome stuff instead of the cliche black I'm used to doing. Yeah, happy as. It's gonna look really good. About to put these buttons on, easy as you can see. So he's got to push that side off and push this one off as well. Gotta get this back one off first, and then underneath on this front one. That's it. And then you simply just pop this new button back on. Inside first. That's it. And there you go. And then you repeat the process another 5 times. Here we have the bars all done now. Obviously need a good clean up. Pretty cool. Got all the matching silver, so it all blends in with the rest of the bike. So for now I've got there's none of these in the country, so I have to go to normal bolt holders and try and find a dome nut for the mirror. I've also got to get a new banjo, so that one's just temporarily just to set it all up. Make sure we've got our length of the new lines all sorted. There we have it. Nice and simple. It took way longer to make this video and do a million takes than it did to actually put them together. It's taken about half an hour max to throw it all together. That's some of the good ones that's all cleaned up and on the way. So now all the handlebars are done, as you can see, we're about to install them. Got our 1/2 inch UNC bolts, and the torque value on these are roughly around, I think it's around 40 Newton meters to roughly mid 50s. I'll have to double check, but somewhere around 40 to say 55-ish Newton meters. So now the bike's been sitting dormant for a bit, waiting for a few bits and pieces. Need a few banjo fittings and a banjo bolt, and we can seal this bike up. What I was going to do is detail all the motor while the tank's off, clean it all up, clean the whole bike up, and I was going to give the tin set a quick cut and buff. There's a few little imperfections and I was thinking, bugger it, it's got a bit of a special birthday coming up, so we'll surprise him and we'll give his bike a paint job, eh? So now we're up to installing the clutch cable. What you want to watch for is you don't want to over tighten this because you've got an O-ring for the seal, so there's no point trying to draw it out tight because you're not reliant on the threads for seal, it's that O-ring. And what you can do there, you can pinch it and you can have an oil leak. But anyhow, I've never done one of these bikes before, so it's all guesswork. I don't know the right terminology for the parts and whatnot, but it's all common sense, super easy stuff. So basically, if you want to know how your clutch is actuated, we have these balls that go in here, as you can see there. So they sit in there. And when you pull your cable, as you can see on this other side here, don't know what you call this little thing, it's like a little ramp or something, but basically that sits in there. And as you could imagine, when you pull the clutch, it lifts up, as you can see. And in effect what that's doing is it's rising up. You're pushing on that little push rod over here. So when you push that push rod, you're disengaging the clutch on the other side, which we'll show later on in the video. So basically it just rides up on those balls, pull the clutch in, rides up, back down, disengages, pushes up, pushes our push rod in here, sits in there, to the other side, disengages your clutch, so pushes it in, releases your clutch, comes back off, and then you're ready to go again. So yeah. It's back on, now we're over to this side here. So what we need to do now is adjust this, and how we do that is what we're aiming for is basically to see how we got a bit of play in that handle. Basically you want to take up majority of the slack and then we'll go from there, and then we can do our final adjustment check once we have this primary cover off. We'll do what we got to do with the new belt, put it back on, then I'll show you the adjustment on that end as well. Real simple. So you got a lock nut here and you want to just turn this barrel here, so when you turn that out obviously you're going to lengthen it and you'll end up watching that come in. So I'll turn that down this end and see if I can do it all at the same time. See our gap closing up. Turning that barrel. Pretty close. So anyhow, this is for a quick demo. Now we have a clutch again. Beautiful. Now time to change this drive belt. Never done one before, just be all a nuts and bolts job, easy as. Looks like we've got to pull this floorboard off, then we'll pull that primary cover off and I'll show you what's behind it. So far we've had to pull this left hand foot control off, and a quick little trick I do is let's get an old box like this, sort of roughly map out how many bolts we have, and then that way there we can pull all of our bolts into the place they came out, because I don't know if there's going to be short bolts or long bolts. I'm pretty sure there will be by the looks of it. Just a quick little reference and saves a bit of time at the other end. First things first, we just drain the oil. There's this plug in there. That's just there to lubricate the chain that's inside there. It's separate to your motor oil. Now I have the cover off. Looks like we've got a really basic setup in here. It's a setup I've never seen in one. Looks like we've got a chain tensioner here. Just looking at the back here. Right here, looks like the starter motor's attached to the inner case. So it looks like we're going to have to pull that off. I'm guessing undo these two nuts here, obviously. And that should slip it all out, but we'll soon see. So what else we run into? Here we have our tensioner. I'm just looking how it works. As I said, I should really read the instructions, but when you get told how to do something, you actually don't learn who, what, where, how and why. So this is how I like to learn, just by figuring it out as we go. But I waste a little bit of time this way, but we get more of an in-depth understanding instead of just following instructions. So as we can see over here, looks like it's a ratchet mechanism. I'm trying to see how we can pull it back down, but it looks like it's quite maxed out anyway. So obviously it won't come back down because it's on those teeth. So I can always go up to tension more, but I can't come back down. So yeah, I'm just thinking I'm just gonna go thug life on it, pull the bolts out, see what happens. There's nothing to lose. So what I ended up doing was I couldn't see a little locking pin. So a lot of tensioners on cars, you can push them right back, especially the hydraulic ones, and you put a pin in and hold it into place. I couldn't see that, so for the now, all I did was just to see what would happen is was put a cable tie around there for now. So it's all compressed as it would be. Undone the bolts, obviously nothing else happened. So what I'll do now, before I take the chain off, I'll wrap a cable tie just around the tensioner itself and then pull it off, and then we can pull the chain off by the looks of it. Sweet, well that method worked well. It might be overkill, who knows, but say we're all just guessing. So I had that cable tie going around the chain and the tensioner. Then I put one just around there on the tensioner alone, cut that one off the chain and pulled this out. So we'll see later how that works. Obviously the chain won't come out because you're still stuck on the teeth. So what I'll do is I'll find the easiest route, and I'll probably pull it off, pull that steer clip out by the looks of it. Hopefully that clutch all slides off, or maybe have to pull this out as well, but yeah, we'll figure it out. So I had to cut a bit of wood, as you can see, to lock the two gears up. I couldn't see anywhere else. I didn't see any like factory places you can lock these gears up. You probably have a special tool, but anyhow wood will do. It's not going to wreck the teeth. So this one here caught me out. It's a left hand thread, and that one's normal. So to undo it, you obviously go anti-clockwise. To undo this one, you go clockwise. So yeah, caught me out. But anyhow, we're good to go now. What a mission that was. So much parts to remove. The exhaust off the other side, just to get that belt out. Unbelievable behaviour that is. But anyhow, belt guards had to come off, axle had to come off, exhaust had to drop that out of the way. To drop the exhaust out of the way, you had to remove the right hand foot control. So basically you stripped the whole bike nearly. Alright, she's all done now, just got to put the new belt on. Then reverse the process. Thought it would be a good opportunity now to give the bike a good clean up, especially in the areas that were all hidden behind stuff you'll not normally get to. Like brand new once she's all done. So we have the rear wheel and belt guards all assembled. Going to re-torque that rear axle once it's down back on the ground, set the belt tension. So we're about to put this inner primary cover back on now. So we have a new gasket here, and the kit also came with a new O-ring for the starter motor. And we're going to replace the seal head. We're about to assemble this inner primary cover now, so we have a new gasket that goes on there. What else we got? The kit comes with a new seal there. Also the new O-ring for the starter motor, and I put a bit of the sealant on the starter motor. This Loctite 515, bloody brilliant stuff. Like, it's just the best gasket sealant ever. This, and there's another branded stuff, the Doc Seal stuff you use for instrument air. It's bloody brilliant. But anyhow, so is that all done? Have to put the cover back on. That went back on easy as. Bike's all assembled now. So what we're going to do is do the final clutch adjustment. You can do this with the cover on, but I thought I'll show you the clutch packs and them operating. So if you remember from the last video, we're talking about that push rod that comes through this way, and as we can see here, so what we want to do, just for argument's sake, see that's backed off. We've got heaps of, so it's all loose. So what we want to do is we just want it to seat, so we wind it into the seats like that. But then the problem there is basically you'll be riding the clutch because it's basically on the whole time. So what we want to do simply is just back it off a tad, and we come back up here, we've got a bit of float until it bites. If you come back down here again, you see the clutch plate's moving when you pull the clutch in. Job done. So that was quite a big job just to change that belt. It's definitely not a hard job. I'd recommend anyone to give it a go. It's just more time consuming than anything. And there's no real tricks to it, nothing will catch you out on it. It's a simple nuts and bolts job. Just make sure everything goes back in the place you pulled it out. Apart from that, easy as.